Hello, this is Cynthia Ortiz. These are the Charles Perry Stalker Podcast. Mr. Poke and Peep is at it again today, so we got more. What happens when he bothers me is he starts getting caught in a lot of crime that he's hid all his life, and nothing else has come from what he's done, but he's told on, and he can't understand a fucking thing you say. Can't do it. Huntington's disease. We found out he has Huntington's disease because he contacts me and he peeps on me and he rapes me and he causes problems for me and he takes my money. And when he does the crime to me, everything changed for him and all his partners. David Robertson and Lucius and Bald Fat Calvin and Hacker Sanjay and Geppetto Your Witch, Beverly, Blankenship, Desiree, Richard, Dickey, I'm naming your people. Who's nicknamed the Muffin Man? Who is Monique and where is she right now? Who is she, Mr. Perry? All the stuff that you hid. Somebody said the other day, somebody up in Oklahoma, I guess back in Lubbock, Mr. Perry is like Leave It to Beaver. Oh, that's not the Perry we know up in Oklahoma. No, he's got Huntington's disease. It causes paranoia, delusion, hallucinations, psychosis. He is psychotic, literally. And impaired cognitive reasoning. He can't do cause and effect. When you do the crime to me, you get caught and told on and caught and told on. The more you chase the lie, the more truth we get. When you contact me, I fucking hate it. You disgust me. It makes my stomach turn. Mr. Perry's delusional. So what he has done is create some imaginary relationship in his head that is only real to him. He's by himself. There's nobody else in that with him. I can't stand the guy. I moved twice to get away from him. I tried 11 times to get either a protective order or an injunctive order to have a judge make him leave me the fuck alone. And he had to buy his way out of that. He's about to go to jail, and there's a criminal case building that he won't be able to buy his way out of. And every time he contacts me, every day my privacy is invaded. Every day I'm broke because he takes my money. Every day Michael Neely is in jail for something he could not have done. Every day that happens. Every day Mr. Perry imposes and burdens everybody else with his weirdo problems that he has no control over. We find out more. And they just build it up and build it up and build, and they'll bury him in it in his court case. And he has no fucking idea what I just said. All day long, he's gone right back at it. Is it a casino? Is it your family? Is it your kid? Why would I help you? Like, nobody, and he's got to tell me what he thinks and how he feels and what he wants. I need you to lie. Please lie. Nobody cares what you think. We're all sick of hearing it. Nobody understands why you think we would. Everybody's sick of you. You're a criminal. Allegedly. Everybody's sick of the crime. Number 2 in polling in the midterm election showed people are sick of crime. Sick of it. What made you think they'd like yours? Delusional. So I'm watching TV, right? He sees what I'm watching because he's a little peeping Tom, a little pathetic. Peeping is a felony, you bitch. It isn't attractive. It isn't something you want to brag. It is disgusting. Normal guys can go out and get a real love life and a real date, and you can't because you do things that are turn off. Weirdo. So he sees what I'm watching on TV against my will, illegally, that I don't want him to know anything about. It's not, I've billed him $1,000 a day for watching me in the privacy of my home, using my body for his little pretend life. He sits on his fat, lazy ass, doing that all day. Typing in my phone, is it this person telling on me? Who's telling on me? Please lie for me. I'm going to frame you for a murder. I'm going to have you arrested. Go to the club so I can have you arrested. Go to the club so I can take your car. I'm going to starve you until you lie. types all that shit in my phone that he hacked, also another felony. So I'm watching TV, and whatever it is I'm watching, he thinks I'm giving him a secret hint, and then I'm pissed off that he's just not picking up on the hint, and that is bullshit. It doesn't get any more delusional than that. We laugh at him. It's like, oh my God, wow. My intent is that you don't see it at all, much less take things wrong. And when I tap my fingers, he thinks that's a secret clue. I don't know what the secret is. We're all still waiting for him to say what the secret is. The guy's bizarre. So we found out he has Huntington's disease that's causing all that. Bizarre. Because when he contacts me, we get more. When he rapes me in the privacy of my home and invades my privacy and butts into shit that's none of his business, we find out more. So, this murder frame-up thing, we've talked about it, Mr. Perry, over and over and over and over and over. First, it was Caitlin Arquette, because you illegally hacked me, and you're seeing me talk to her mom. I didn't even know about her or her murder. I'm like 18, 19, 20 at this time. I had just gotten my first apartment, and I'm out on my own, my first job, and I didn't watch TV. I didn't own a TV. I didn't care about the news. I was just like, oh, hey, I'm finally independent. So I had no idea what happened to her. And then I went to a writer's conference, and I met her mom. Her mother brought a book that's called Who Killed My Daughter that she had written. And I looked at it, and I'm looking at she laid it on the table in front of me. And I'm looking at it, and I said, this is you. This is your book. And she goes, yes, it is. It's my daughter was murdered. We hired a private investigator to investigate it, and this is what he found. There's a lot of corruption in New Mexico. This was about drugs. She was dating a guy who was involved in drugs. They were selling some of those drugs to some elected officials in the state of New Mexico. And everybody, the guys that were involved in it, everybody knew they were corrupt. Manuel Lujan, I think, was one of them, and Ray Sanchez. These guys were fucking corrupt. Everybody knew it. Everybody talked about it. Nobody could figure out why they kept getting elected. They eventually stopped getting elected, finally. And those guys were involved in it, in the drug trafficking, and covering it up. And she was involved in that. I didn't hang out with her. We weren't the same age. I think we were a year or two apart. We completely lived in two different worlds. Had no interaction with this girl at all whatsoever in order to have killed her. But Mr. Perry's, so I meet the mom, and she's telling me what the private investigator found and about her book. And she signed my my little bulletin, and we became pretty good friends. And Mr. Perry sees years later, that's like in 1990, 80 something, and that happened. And I'm meet Mr. Perry in 2010. Well, Caitlin was shot, and I'm like, well, first problem that you got is the incidentals on my hands are going to be very different now than they were when I was 18, 19, 20, when that happened. Because I've burned myself, I've cut my fingers, so there's going to be incidentals on my hands. So you didn't have access to my handprints way back when. You didn't have access to my handprints until 2010. In order to get my handprints, and in criminal justice college, that I'm now in my fourth year, we've studied forensics, and part of those forensics would involve the ability to fake a fingerprint. We had to watch a whole video on why now companies are they're not using fingerprint technology for entry to a secured location at all anymore. They're using veins scan. So and they've got a machine now that can scan the veins inside your hand. Each person's is unique. The formation of the veins inside your hand, each one is unique. And so they're using that now because there's too many opportunities that people have now learned how to plant fingerprints, or get your fingerprint and put it on a scanner and get into a building that is supposed to be secured. And they can do the same thing on a murder. So we've studied all that. Certainly, Mr. Perry is on the Forensics Nurses Association board, which why would an accountant want to do that? Why would a little boring accountant all of a sudden want to be on the board of the West Texas Forensic Nurses Association? But to learn about how to do that. Or get rid of trace evidence on his own crimes. That's the only reason a boring accountant would want to do that. No other reason. So, they're taking my cigarettes from, I've been over this. This is all repeat. They've taken my cigarettes from work and bags of them. My guys are like, Mr. Perry's under police investigation. That's how we found out he has Huntington's disease. The results of his actions, the direct results of his invasion of my privacy as they invade his. They got a court order, or you got a leak, and you just have a weirdo problem causing you to invade mine. You do absolutely already reap what you sow. You're just not all there. You can't put things together like that in your head, can you? It's embarrassing. I don't know. I don't even know what to say to that. I'm used to dealing with very, very intelligent people, very thorough, definitely not factually ignorant. And the judge that grants the investigatory orders is very frustrated with Judy Parker because she's factually ignorant and doesn't care. Doesn't know what the hell she's doing or talking about. I know a whole lot more than people think I do. We don't put everything out. But we found out about that because you're under a police investigation. My guy goes, here's the thing, is they got bags of your cigarettes, bags of them. Had they picked up 1 or 2 or 3, which is all you need to plan out a murder, we'd have not even noticed. But they got bags of them, so now we know they're collecting your cigarettes from work to plant out a murder scene, to try to frame you for something. So switch them up. So I did. I started switching up my cigarettes, different one every couple of days, or 2 in the same day. And so when Caitlin was murdered, I didn't smoke at all. But you did call Lynn and ask him what kind did she smoke, and they recorded you a couple of days ago. And he said, I don't know. I think Marlboro. Was it regular or menthol? I don't know. And he doesn't. And at that time in my life, I had just started smoking, so I was trying all kinds of different ones. And anyway, so we found that out because when Mr. Perry invades my privacy, they invade his. They got a court order. He's got a weirdo problem. He has leaks. We don't. We can get information he can't. But already today, is it a casino? Is it your mom and dad? Is it your kids? Is it your family? Who's telling on me? We are not going to help you. You are being stopped, and I've said that over and over and over and over. Mr. Perry, everybody's very irritated with you because we have to repeat ourselves all the time. Most people don't have to be told the things that you're told. That your conduct is offensive and inappropriate and illegal and it's disgusting. So we can get information and no one will help you. Everybody wants you gone. Everybody's sick and tired of you. And David. And we hear Matt, Mr. Powell yesterday I guess it was, a gazillion times over the past, I left Lubbock in 2013. I moved to get away from Charles Perry. And then he made my life living hell in Dallas, Texas. So I had to move again. I moved to Oklahoma to be with my family and not have any contact with him at all. No contact with Mr. Perry at all. And no conflict. And he has come up here uninvited and ruined lives. Ruined them. The more he does the crime to me, the more we get. The more lie he chases, the more truth comes out. Right, David? Right? Mr. Perry can't tell. He won't know a fucking thing what I'm just saying right now. He won't understand a fucking word of it. He continually reacts in a way that you can tell he has no idea what you're saying. Not a clue. He's diagnosed mental slow. No cognitive reasoning. When you contact me, we find out more. When you invade my privacy, we get more. When you cause me a problem or a loss, we get more. It has been that way very consistently every single day for 7 years that you know of. Every day we're quoting you. Every day you contact me again, wanting to know how I found out. Every day it's the same old cycle. A dog returns to his vomit. The dog returns to his vomit, and everyone's going, ew. And the dog returns. Mr. Powell calls up here. Thousands of recordings of Mr. Powell calling up here. Can we not get her address? What's her whereabouts? I need her address. One time you were told, we pinged her phone. We pinged it. Yeah, okay. Whatever. And we have I can give you a zip code, but I have a protected address through the state of Oklahoma. You're messing with my mail right now, too. I'm having a problem getting my mail. That's a federal offense. That's not the first time you've done that. So they got an inspector working on that. They do. I'm not. My guy says don't go report it because they'll interfere with that. We're gonna date. We'll find an inspector we trust, and we'll work with that person, and we'll build a case. Just build it up and bury them in it in their criminal case. Every time they mess with your mail. And you're doing it now. So there's a state law that says we can't give out her address. I can give you a zip code, and that's the best I can do. That's what you were told. I heard the conversation, Mr. Powell. We'll take a picture of her when she's walking across the parking lot to take out the trash or to her car. I'll have somebody take a picture of her because we're stalkers, and that's what we do. Stalkers take a picture of the victim. So we can go into court and say, we're not stalking her. See the pictures we got of her, where she is, where she lives. You're not supposed to know anything about or care. Okay, yeah, we heard all that because when Mr. Perry contacts me, when you invade my privacy, that's what happens. It's been that way every day, all day long, for a decade. Dog returns to his vomit over and over and over. We repeat ourselves again and again and again. And everybody's sick and tired of wasting their time explaining the same thing to y'all over and over and over. No, I don't know who's 10 years you can't spot a pattern. We spot the pattern the second time you do it. Asking if I'd been to the eye doctor. It's none of your business. What's in my mail? Not your concern. Where I live, Mr. Powell? None of your business. I left Lubbock. So that's what the question was. Why is Mr. Powell calling up to Oklahoma still? Wanting her address. Still. What in the hell is wrong with that guy? She left in 2013. Move on. Move the fuck on. Mr. Perry has no alibi to prove he's doing anything but what we say. He sits on his fat, lazy ass. He perverts around. He bothers everybody. He causes a problem. And then we find out what he's up to. The more he does it to me, the more we get. The more he chases the lie, the more truth comes out. And he just does the same thing every day, like that's what he wants. Because you don't do the same thing every day for 10 years if you're not getting the results you want. And everything you do, the direct result of that is we find out more about your crime. So you guys thought it was cute to have the waitress at the club where I was working bully, and worse than I've been bullied in my life, for at least for a good long time. Bully and bull. I'm waitressing. I'm doing fine. I'm enjoying it. And she came in and took over and told everybody she's running the club and told made sure I wasn't going to waitress again. Here's the thing, what I'll do. If you fuck with me to a certain point and she's bullying like she was, I'm going to avoid you and I'm going to say, yep, okay, well, I just won't waitress anymore. You're a meth head. You want to come in here and fuck up Mr. Paul's business? You fuck up Mr. Paul's business. It's his business. If he wants to let you do that, that's his deal. I'm done. I'm not going to fight with you. I don't have time. I'm busy. So, you want to come in here and act like that. Half the time she didn't show up. She goes around and badmouths everybody back in the dressing room. She goes back in the back and on her phone calls her boyfriend who's in prison and yet has a phone. He's in jail for killing a cop in Oklahoma City 8 years ago. You know how she met him? on Facebook. I don't understand women that do that. I really don't. That is pathetic. Women who meet a guy in jail or prison and fall in love. What in the fuck is that? That's the best you can do? Oh my God. So she gets the job and then she doesn't show up half the time. So I end up filling in for her. Somebody's got a waitress. I'm doing her job for her. Or she's in the back on the phone with a prison boyfriend who's got a, contraband. Did you guys know people can get a phone in jail and talk to their girl, Facebook girlfriend? I mean, who the fuck? So she's back. Well, guess what? So then I'm selling a lap dance because I'm dancing instead of waitressing. And I got to go back and do the paperwork myself because she's busy back there bad-mouthing me to everybody in the dressing room, causing drama. Or talking on the phone to the guy in jail. Her first name is Amanda. That's her real name. Mr. Reed, Sheriff Reed. Back there committing a crime. That girl is in the dressing room committing a crime on the phone with the guy in jail for killing a cop in Oklahoma City 8 years ago. And he's got contraband. And she's a meth head, so guess what? That's the meth heads. What they do is they'll go to work and make a little bit of money, and then they go buy the drugs. Then all of a sudden, I'm sick and I don't feel good. I think she had to take her kid to the ER about 5 times in a couple of days. Oh, come on, nobody has. I got to take my kid to the emergency room, and then I'll be in. I'm like, oh my, how cute. She thinks we're stupid. So she goes and she does. They do their drugs. And then when they run out of money and drugs, they come back to work. We start checking on her background. Guess what? She's done that. She's been fired for doing that. Yep. They're like, she's your problem now. She causes problems. She makes drama. She badmouths people. She doesn't show up, or she's here late and leaves early. And I'm like, oh yeah, we've heard that one before. Yep. So bully, does all that. Has the nerve to go around bad-mouthing me after I've had to fill in for her, or I sell a dance and she's back there doing all that shit in the dressing room instead of out working. And then she tells the boss everything's, I'm going to call the boss, every little thing. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is not daycare, chickie. So, I don't do that. I don't fucking do that. One time I got called in the office for cutthroat. They were like, did you cutthroat this girl? She's complaining you cutthroat her. And I'm like, she was 3 feet away from the customer. I was standing right next to him. By the way, he's a regular of mine. He came in, bought me a drink. We got up and did dollar dances. I went back to sit with him after he bought me a drink. The other girl was 3 feet away. She hadn't even gotten to him yet. And, by the way, do you know how many times I've been cutthroat? You don't hear a word about it. Because this is in daycare and I'm not 3 years old. Grow the fuck up. So there's that. And he shook his head and he goes, yeah, no, we don't hear about it. And I go, yep, because I'm not 3 and we're grown-ass people and this is not a daycare. I get cutthroat. You know what I do? I cutthroat back if needed. Usually I'll just ignore it. Go on to the next thing. But if somebody's doing it to me, like targeting me, then I'll just do it back. So it's rare you're going to hear me talk about it. We're grown-ups. This is part of it. Happens sometimes. You just go on to the next thing and act like a grown-up. And they were like laughing at me. Okay, cool. That's fine. Anyways, so while I'm filling in for Miss, everyone's always sick at my house, or she's there, but she's in the back with the boyfriend in prison committing a crime, or bad-mouthing me to everybody else while I do her job for her. She tells the boss, oh, well, I was making the club money doing a lap dance. And I go, yeah, that was like hours earlier in the night. Chickie, we got, you're the one always wants to pull cameras. We can pull cameras again. If you're going to sit here and lie. Okay, So I'm like, well, and there's some other factors involved too, but that was a big one. And I don't like living like that. I don't have to. I've never been treated like that before, and that, I'm like, I don't. We've had a lot of waitresses here, and they don't act like you. They don't behave like you. So I left. Calvin is telling her, make sure she doesn't make any money. Calvin is telling her, cause a problem. Because we heard the recording of Calvin talking about it. Calvin is now going to have to pay his attorney in a criminal case when everybody gets arrested and we're done with this, to listen to all that shit and try to suppress it. Billable hours for your attorney. Cha-ching. They love y'all. Your attorneys love you. And so, yeah, no, I haven't been back for a while. And my guys let me know if it's safe to go or not. Here's the thing. When you go, we can get evidence. It's not the end of the world for them to do shit to you at work. As long as it's... We have to weigh the risk factors. Is the benefit going to outweigh the risk, and can I handle the risk? How bad is the risk? So that was all of that goes into based on whatever intel they get on all day. Some of that happens because Mr. Perry pisses everybody off. He's got leaks, we don't. He can't name even one of our guys. We've named a bunch of them. Sonjay loves me for saying his name, doesn't he? Yeah. Don't fuck with certain people. You don't do it. There's certain people in the... Mr. Perry was told that a long time ago. He was asking somebody about me, and the guy said, listen, what I know about Cindy is that she will piss you the fuck off, but she's usually right. And there are certain people in the world you don't fuck with, and she's one of them. And I can't even put my finger on why that is with her, but I'm going to tell you, if you fuck with her, you're going to wish you hadn't done that. And Mr. Perry laughed. And David Robertson laughed. And Lucius and Calvin, they all laughed. They thought that was funny. Is it funny now? When I quote you, Calvin, is it funny then? I mean, you tell me. So when Mr. Perry contacts me, poking, peeping, pink penny, pathetic, that's what his guy calls him. That's his own people make fun of him. His own people make fun of him. He's a butt of jokes. That the best you can do, Mr. Perry, with your life is be the butt of a dirty joke. It's what you are. And your kids are going to have to explain and apologize for you long after you're gone. And you've done that to them. You don't even care about your family. Because if you cared about your family, you'd get off your fat, lazy ass and go work. I already know what I did all day. I don't date men who peep. It is disgusting. It's a crime for a reason, dumbass. I don't date men who can't get a grip on reality. I don't date men that don't defend my honor. I don't date men unless they make sure I don't miss a meal, even if that means supporting my career. I don't date bitches like you who sit around all day bothering everybody and causing problems. And you cause loss, the kind people never get over. And you don't care. All you care about is who told on you. You have zero empathy. So who's Monique and where is she right now, Mr. Perry? Where is she right now? What about the Muffin Man? That's a nickname. How do I have that? When you invade my privacy, they invade yours. They got a court order, and you got a weirdo problem you have no control over. So the other thing we got today is Betancourt. Betancourt. Somebody's freaking out that we have Mr. Betancourt's name. I'm not going to get into a lot of that. And you wanted to call my son's employer to cause problems for him at work. Duly noted for the record. The information that we get is before. So what we're doing with that is using it to prove malicious aforethought. You committed a crime. You knew it was a crime. You planned it. You intended to cause an injury and a harm to coerce a lie. And somebody asked Mr. Perry a few days ago, right? When you contact me, Charles Perry, you get caught. When you contact me, Charles Perry, you get caught. No one cares what you think. Nobody wants to hear it. And nobody understands why you think we would. And nobody understands why by now you cannot understand how sick and tired of you everybody is. We can get information, you can't. Name one of my guys, quote one of their meetings. Ask Sonjay to help you. Count how many times you were caught before you did it to me, how many after. You dumb son of a bitch. I don't want to hear from you. Everybody's sick of you. Why can you not get that by now? Why can you not get... Nobody's going to help you. What we've told you is, my guy said, if you want our help, we will call you. It is inappropriate for you to try to communicate with her. Give back what you took and get the fuck out of her life. And only then will we call you. And it's about to be too damn late. You can meet them when they arrest you. You can meet them when they arrest you, bitch. You're a pathetic. You're weak. You're a slave to your desires. You're completely controlled by a weirdo strango problem. It's embarrassing. And you're too stupid to be embarrassed about it. Everybody else is embarrassed. Why aren't you? And again, he's not going to understand a fucking thing I just said. Not a word of it. Won't understand me. I asked our shrink, I go, he's embarrassing everybody. So why isn't he embarrassed? Normal guys do not sit around and peep all day. And he has no alibi to prove he's not doing exactly what I say. And going to meeting after meeting trying to figure out how to make me fail. How many men are in that meeting trying to figure out how to make one woman fail? 20, 30. I mean, it's pathetic. You're weak. And you're stupid. And you don't even know that. So I'm asking our shrink, he's embarrassing everybody. Why is he not embarrassed too? And she said, I already told you, he has no cognitive reasoning. He's a mentally ill man. Very mentally ill. Very delusional. Because when you tell them, when you contact me, nothing has happened. You get nothing out of that but to hold on. Every day, all day long, for a decade. And so when he's told, leave her alone, he thinks he has a choice. I think we've shown him he doesn't have one. He doesn't have a choice. That's the law. Comply with the law. Because you got the law after you. And these guys don't want your money. They want you gone. There's some of us, people in the world that are like, I'm going to be the one that got it right. I'm going to be the one that got it right. It might kill me, but I'm going to be the one that got it right. I'm not going to have to explain to my kids later or apologize later. I'm not. I'm going to be the one that goes, I got it right. I caught this bad guy. I caught it. Everybody else missed it. I caught it. So there's that. So he, she said, and he's severely mentally retarded. He's not putting it together in his head that he should be embarrassed. He doesn't know. I don't know what he has, Alzheimer's or senile dementia or aphasia. I don't know what he has, but he's got some aging degenerative disease, no question. There's no question. He will not pass cognitive reasoning exams that I give my first grade patients. So when he contacts me, we find out more. So in the process of that, we found out he has Huntington's disease. And sure as shit, she covered it on both. He does have mental illness and he does have mental retardation, and he won't understand a word I'm saying right now. And he'll go right back at it, and we'll get more until his arrest. And they from the beginning, it was like, here's what we're going to do. Here's the strategy. We're going to, if you can handle it, since he's targeted you, we're going to let it pile up, and then we'll bury him in it in court. All of them. Bury all of them. The more they do, the more we have. The more they have to pay their attorney every time we get intel to read through it. Cha-ching for your attorney. Billable hours right there. And then again in criminal court, they're going to have to read through all that. They're going to have to listen to our recordings, determine how we got it, and try to suppress each and everything. Because there's not going to be a deal. What it'll be is, see you at trial. And then you do what you do. That's your choice. You're grown-ass people. So they want to call my son's employer and attack my child. And we got that recorded too, by the way. Okay? So they got a court order and you got a weirdo problem on the invasion of privacy, but you do reap what you sow. You already are. What he said is, privacy is not to be invaded. You are not to contact her or her family at all, in any way, shape, or form. Not at all. I don't want to hear it. Nobody understands why you think I would. I want you to shut up and get away from me. You stupid son of a bitch. Shut up and get away from me. Nobody understands why you think I want to hear from you. I do not care. I don't care to hear it. Everybody's sick and tired of you. Everybody's sick and tired of you. Look at the results. I can get information at the snap of a finger, and you can't. I've got your names. You can't name one guy that helps me. Not one. You think I'm hinting at it, and you're off your nut. That is as whack job as it gets. Nobody understands why you think I would try to hint at it. You're proving out that disease you have. It is wacky jacky. I'll tell you what. So, we got yesterday Mr. Powell wanting to know what my whereabouts and my address again. The guy can't stay off the phone asking for my address and my whereabouts. We wanted her to go back to the club, and Mr. Perry, Charles keeps scaring her out of the club. Or had me bullied out. I don't have to put up with that crap. You do understand that, right? I've been, somebody said that. Here she is. She's working with United States senators, having a fuss with chief of staff. Nobody just calls a United States senator and gets the chief of staff on the phone. She does. Has a fuss with him. And then he takes the time to call her back and work it out and tell her he's glad that they're friends now before he passed away. And this little bitch is going at her. You're shitting us with that, right? I mean, the fuck? She didn't have to put up with that. So, yeah, everybody's mad at the waitress for running me out. I know I don't have to put up with that. I don't. So, you caused the problem. That's happened a lot. You had 6 years in a strip club to get me to slip up, and you didn't do it. Then you had another 5-6 weeks that I went back. Didn't get me to slip up, did you? But we got all kinds of intel, didn't we? The stage money that didn't add up. Then the second murder frame up. Richard or whoever. I can't even put her at the scene. We're trying to frame her for another murder with a woman that looks similar to her, but the offender's skin is darker than Cynthia's, and her hair is a blonde, and Cynthia's is a white blonde, and the witnesses said, every single one of them, she's quite a bit heavier than Cindy. Quite a bit heavier. So we got to find out what kind of... On the day of the murder, it's different, David. Dumb David. But after the fact, you want me to tan so that our skin colors are more alike, and you want to find out what color I dye my hair so you can have her hair dye the same as mine. After, David. And we hear y'all talking about it because it's recorded. You invade my privacy, they invade yours. They got a court order, and you guys got a weirdo problem. Right? So those are recorded conversations. Now what all that does is it gives us malicious aforethought. You premeditated the crime you are committing against me. We're getting it before you do it, not after. This is not an afterthought. I'm not in jail, and I just came up with this shit to explain something away that I've done. It's malicious aforethought for what you did. Your plan, your injury, you intended to commit a crime against me. You sat down and you talked about it. You had a meeting about it, and you tried to carry it out. You are trying to cause an injury. You're breaking the law, and you planned it. That's what it does for us, that we get the information before. And we get it more, the more Charles contacts me and invades my privacy, causes a problem for me. The longer Mike's in jail, the longer you're in my life. Nothing else has come from what you've done in a decade but that. Those are your results, those are your outcomes, and those are ours. It's very different when you do the crime to me. And you're stupid. And even after 10 years of it being the same thing, day after day after day, over and over and over, there's your vomit. Go eat it. Like a dog to his vomit. And Mr. Perry he can't keep his nose out of his own vomit. They're going to let it build up as long as I can handle it, within reason. And then they will bury you with it in a court of law. This judge is not going to take your money. A lot of what you guys have said in these recordings has already been played for that judge and used as probable cause to get some sort of order. Do you understand the words, Mr. Perry? Yeah, okay. Gonna call my son's employer and cause him a problem now. And we heard you talking about it. And Mr. Powell. And we heard you. When she goes to take out the trash or when she goes to walk to her car, we need to have somebody take a picture of her because we're stalkers. We're where she is. Mr. Perry, nobody invited you to Oklahoma. You're getting caught because you're doing the crime to me. It's never happened to you before. Ask Sanjay to help you count. How many times was your crime caught before you did it to me? And how many after? Because we all know you can't count anymore. Huntington's disease. 2 and 2 is 4. You think 2 and 2 is circle. Everybody's sick and tired of dealing with this. All of you. We don't have problems getting information. We get a snap of a finger 98% of the time. That's pretty fucking good. It isn't humanly possible to get it all. 98% of the time, at the snap of a finger, we can get what you just said. We can get names of the people involved in your criminal activity, and you have not one name, and you can't quote even one meeting. And it's 10 years of this. 6 years in a strip club, not one slip up. Not even one. Then I go back, and you got another 5 weeks. Right? And you were too busy trying to get Amanda to bully me. And get in my wallet and take my computer and my driver's license, right? Right, Lucius? So, again, no slip up. So that's the result of what we've done, and that's the result of what you do. And Mr. Powell has been, he said, I have probably 1,000 or so phone calls of Mr. Powell, Mr. Perry, get out of my phone. I don't care what you think. Nobody understands why you think I do. I will never help you. I will never call you. We all want you in jail. Stupid. Listen. I can't stand you. Fuck off. Everybody's sick and tired of you. So he types in my other phone. Is it Mr. Powell? Oh my God. Oh wow. So a lot of times if I stop and address that, he'll cut it out. It's not always, but sometimes. It's worth a try. So he says, we got probably 1,000 or so recordings of Mr. Powell calling up, wanting your address, demanding your whereabouts, and it is pathetic. He goes, it makes me want to throw up. He needs to get a life. All of them do. Get a fucking life. So, we got that too, Mr. Powell. You know, what is your deal? You have some sort of weird obsession with me as well? I mean, Charles has a disease. What's the rest of you guys' problem? What is the rest of your problem? I found out I was trafficked before you trafficked me. Mr. Perry has sold me. This isn't about a date. This is about, he thinks he's bait, which he's delusional. This is about, I sold her to a realtor in Houston. And when I say, when I'm speaking in the third person, I'm quoting someone else. By the way, most people don't have to be told that. They do. So, he took half the money up front. And he's desperate to deliver. They call it Papa John's. That's their code word for delivering a human trafficked victim to the buyer. We got to make Papa John's on this. Make delivery. And he wants his money. Charles, Dave, Lucius, Calvin, those guys, they are desperate for their money. And that's what this is about. Mr. Perry forged a marriage license and a power of attorney so that he could get into my financial information. Against my will with no consent, he forged my name. He signed it. I've not seen it. Lucky Miller asked me about it. Did you sign this? He didn't have it with him. He was telling me about it, and I said no. He came all the way out to my club to ask me that. I was at the time staying literally 2 minutes from Manford Police Department. He drove all the way out to the club to ask me about a forgery, and I was like, why the hell would I do that? And he goes, yeah, I thought it was a forgery. I didn't think it looked like your signature. Right? He's taking your money, isn't he? Yep. We told him, stop taking her money, get your hand out of her wallet. You face her in court like men. And quit trying to make it where she can't fight you in court. All this illegal stuff y'all are doing. Is that why you murdered him? Because that's certainly motive. And tried to frame Mike. You tried to kill him. You tried to kill me with arsenic. You tried to kill him with opioids. And when we don't die, you try to do a false arrest. Mr. Powell, everybody's sick and tired of your bullshit. People aren't stupid, and you insult their intelligence. They're done. And a lot of times they'll tell you what you want to hear, so you'll shut up and go away. We have heard that a lot. I have no time to sit there and argue with them and sit there and listen to their crap that we all know is bullshit. And they're insulting my intelligence, and so I was like, yeah, I believe you. You know, a lot of people do that. I do that. I do that to those girls at work. When they said oh yeah, we went to Waffle House with those guys with 14 grand. They threw it in the parking lot and the homeless got it. And I go, oh, okay, yeah. I'll pretend I believe you because I don't have time to sit here and listen to your crap while you insult my intelligence, and I'm not going to argue with you. I'm busy. I have normal shit to do. Normal people do. And those are your victims, though. They're not criminals, because if they had a choice, they wouldn't be doing shit like that. Right, David? Aren't those your girls? You own them. You're their traffic daddy, pimp. Yeah. Okay, whatever. So, and y'all went at Sadie because you thought she was leaking? You went at her, didn't you? Yep. Don't do that again. Don't do that again. If you didn't want somebody to catch you, you had to make sure she had a nicer car, so you could explain where the money's going. 14 grand on a stage. Somebody said that. I'm going to tell you what. I know she's right, because nobody walks in a strip club with $14,000 with intent only to throw it on the stage and get nothing else out of it. Nothing. Not even a lap dance, not a VIP, nothing. And the owner is not involved in this because he said, we're about to close. Your $14,000 doesn't mean shit to me unless you want to buy a lap dance or a VIP. So if you want to buy a lap dance or a VIP, I'll stay open for you. Otherwise, get the hell out. Take your money and get out. Sadie's throwing a fit. She's about to cry. Why the hell is she acting like that? Why the hell is she acting like that? Like she's fucking 2 years old. Doing the fit like that, screaming and yelling at the owner. I would have been, how about all of you get out? How about all of you get out? And don't come back until you can act like a grown woman. So there's 2 things right there she did that flagged everybody off. 3 things. One is we're seeing 1,000 to 5,000 a night on her, and only her. Her and her 2 friends. Only girls in the club getting that kind of money on stage are those 3. That's weird. 1,000 to 5 a night, and then this one night 14 grand. Wow, that's And it's not the same guys every time, so it's not like it's her regular. She's got a rich regular bringing in that kind of money. These are different guys every night. And then one of them gives me a little bit of it, $60. She again throws a fit and about starts crying. You can't take money from my customers. I'm like, wow. First of all, this is a strip club. Guys come in and throw money where they throw money. It's none of your business. Now, if Dave sent these guys in, your traffic daddy, and this money is actually for prostitution or drugs, and he's laundering it by having it thrown on stage, that explains your fit. Because you're gonna come back short $60, right? Plus the cover charge they didn't want to pay. I had to argue with one of them. I don't have time to argue with you about I got 14 grand. I shouldn't have to pay the cover. Oh my gosh. I don't care if you have 50. You're going to pay the cover. And if you have 14, you can afford 45 for your cover charge for the three of you at $15 each. Maybe you ought to leave. Yeah, okay, so now she's worried about the cover charge and the 60, and she's crying, about to cry. You can't take money from my customers. Oh my God. Wow. And then she's throwing a fit when the owner says, we're closing. So you got 14 grand here. You got plenty of money to buy a VIP or two, right? No, not if it's for prostitution. They don't. So they leave with 4 girls. That's $3,500 each. And little Sadie has a crap car. So that's what they did. They bought 4 girls to take home. And the money was to be thrown on stage, and it wasn't. So now Sadie's mad and upset because she's going to get in trouble. The money wasn't laundered. Because once it hits the stage, it's stage money, right? And it's $1,000 to $5,000 every fucking night. And I'm like, yeah, no, it's not. This is not stage money. This is something else. Right? 5 weeks you had to get me to slip up, dumb fuck. 6 years you had to get me to slip up accidentally, and if I won't slip up accidentally, why in the hell would I help you on purpose? I mean, you guys are something. It's so easy, it's not fair. I can get information at the snap of a finger. When we quote you, snap of a finger. Because everybody gets very pissed off at what you're doing to me and Mike. Very pissed off. I can't even put her at the murder scene because Mr. Perry ran off all her friends and she doesn't do a fucking thing but go to the grocery and to work and the laundry, and that's it. I can't even put her there at the scene. Well, she'll have a public defender. They won't think of that. Again, this is a recording of you. We did it before to prove malicious intent on your part, not an afterthought that I'm just explaining something away. You were caught trying to plan twice to frame me for a murder you know good and well I didn't have a fucking thing to do with. I haven't even been to the scene. We're having to alter evidence. We're having to plant evidence. Because if she did it, there would just be evidence to collect, but she didn't. We're having to take her cigarettes from her work to take to the crime scene. We're having to get the offender, the real one, the girl that actually did it, to change her hair color. But on the day of the murder, guess what, David? Stupid. It was different. This is after the fact. You're trying to alter evidence. And he's like, having to call Lynn. What kind of cigarettes did she smoke back in Noah's Ark? Way back when she was a kid. I didn't smoke yet. The gum that I chew, you had no gum taken too. The gum that I chew now wasn't even made back then. Yeah, I don't think of that. Oh, yep. So easy, it's not fair, thank goodness. But we got you talking about it. So when you go to your criminal case, you can sit there and listen to it. And have to listen to what I had to listen to. So then he has, remember we're talking about it. We only need one, David. We only need one, Charles. We only need one, Lucius. We only need one, Calvin, to prove malicious intent. And y'all talked about the same thing over and over and over and over and over. It's funny as hell. So what happens is, poor Sadie, she's Dave's girl. He's traffic daddy. And had they, she not thrown fits like that, she's gonna get in trouble. She's worried. I'd throw a fit too, maybe. I don't, you've seen what they do to me. Starve her until she lies. She can't even eat. And then you were asked, weren't you? You're trying to make her lie. Oh, I'm not trying to make her lie. I've never asked her to lie. And that's bullshit. You have. You type it in my phone every day. Please lie for me. Or I'll starve you until you lie. Okay, so my guys have that too. Get the fuck out of my life, you weird son of a bitch. So they have that too. So here's Sadie with her clunker car, and I'm looking at all this money going, and I'm kind of watching for drug abuse, Because a lot of girls, you can explain why they're broke all the time. They do drugs. Every penny they make goes to drugs. And you're like, well, that's why they're broke. Because they're making good money. Where's it going? Well, drugs. You're not seeing that. I don't see that with Sadie. I don't see it. So, why is she broke? Well, David gets it all. All that money thrown on the stage, 1 to 5 a night, plus the 14, that they sit there and, oh, she's stupid. Well, we'll say this. And I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God, they forget who it is they're talking to. Yeah, sure, okay. Homeless got it. No, they didn't. David got it. Poor Sadie has to do unspeakable, unimaginable things with men. She's a young girl. She's got her whole life ahead of her to be able to do whatever the hell she wants. It's a blank slate. It is a blank canvas. If she wants to fall in love with somebody her age and marry them and have children with them and go to parent-teacher conferences and soccer practice and ballet, she can. And you don't have the right to fuck that up for her. It is her life. It is not your place to butt in. And if she wants to buy a Mercedes, she could buy a Mercedes. It is not your place to rob her. And you've told her you wouldn't have any money if we didn't send guys in. And that is not true. You ran off the paying customers. And we told you in March 2020, you give them back their customers, or we will kick your criminal ass harder than anybody has kicked it before in your life. Now ask Lucius and Bald Fat Calvin and Sonjay and Beverly and Jeremy and Andrew and Dickie and Richard and James and Reuben if they think it's cute that we got their names because you can't understand what people say. We found out Michael Neely was drugged before anybody else said it, and it was confirmed in May in depositions. We said it in March. We said it in January 2020. Laugh at me now, David. Laugh at me now. So you ran off the paying customers. Those are the customers she could make money on, and it's her money. She keeps it. And she can buy whatever the fuck car she wants to buy. And live whatever fuck apartment she wants to live in. It's her money. Okay? And if she wants to meet somebody and marry them and have kids and go to soccer practice and ballet recitals and PTA conferences or not, it's her choice. You don't own her. She's not your bitch. She doesn't have to suck anybody's dick. She doesn't have to lie. She doesn't have to feel pressured if she comes up short because somebody throws a little money on somebody else. That's her life. She owns it. And the club guys don't know, the owners don't know anything about that stuff. And you know how I know that? Because he made the guy leave. If he was getting a cut or he was in on that, he would have let him stay because he's going to get a cut. The club only makes money on dances and VIPs. And you know that. You know that. So that begs the question, when you had the waitress bully me, did you put some pressure on the owner to allow that? Because normally he would not. Because we said you're not to call the people I work with. That's stalking.